Hey fam, how's it going? Happy New Year. I have a quick, not so quick, channel message that I want to deliver. I feel compelled to. So relax. And take a slower, deeper breath. As you do it and I do it, we kind of align. You align with yourself, I align with myself, and through space and time, and intention, and action, we align with each other. And that's not hoo-woo, foo-foo. That's real magic. So feel your shoulders. And feel your shoulders just kind of sink, relax a little bit. Feel the weight of your ears. And just let them hang on your head a little bit more chill-like. You can smile too if you want. Yeah. I'll do a short tarot pull too. But first, the channel message. We will never. This is our path, but not the way. Programmers, powers that be, are happy for us to communicate whatever we want to fucking communicate over the tubes of yous, because it keeps us separate. The dirtiest trick the devil ever played wasn't making us think that he didn't exist. It's more like making us think that he does. There is no devil any more than there is an angel, which is to say, neither exists or they both do. If you're asking in your mind or verbally to the screen, what the fuck do you mean? That's the good path. Now, if you're waiting for me to explain it more, that's the path of evil. Right? Because the dirtiest trick is creating the belief that you and I think the same when we really don't. And that is what's dangerous about all of this talking. I say something, you hear it, you think something because of what you hear, and you believe that what you think is the same as what I think. And because this is one-way communication, and censorship is a thing, in fact, the tone, I'm confident that you're not hearing the true tone of my voice, which carries with it information, which carries with it my true message. And so long as we think and believe that you and I and all of us are on the same page, but have no way and maintain no way of touching, then we're kept separate, because unity the words that make that you the meanings that you think those words mean to you, it doesn't mean sameness. We're not supposed to be on the same page. We're all, each of us, pages in the same story, in the same book. And what's most important is that we're in the right order. What's most important is that we're all in the same, between the same Alpha and Omega. The first, the cover and the back cover. And then that said, let me deliver something a little less cryptically. And I'm not cryptic on purpose. This is the most truthfully I can communicate. Because if I say anything more, you might mistake what I'm saying as what I mean. And then, instead of figuring it out, saying, fuck whatever he thinks he means, what could he mean that makes the most sense to me and brings us together no matter what? So that said, I'm going to attempt to speak super clearly at the risk of being misunderstood. The most powerful exchange of information occurs with a kiss. Union is lips on lips. And as silly as that might sound, that is the analogy of the cosmos. The divine one and the divine one coming together. Not to make two, but to make one and one. That's part of the magic of 11 and what it symbolizes. There are physical mechanisms for information exchange, and they are not what you've been led to believe. But I'll tell you, when you hug someone, when you hold their hand, when you can feel in time, through the least amount of space possible, the reverberations of a voice and the reverberations of the thought waves of the speaker. Because not all waves travel the same speed or the same distances. Union isn't sameness. Union is not just union with self. In fact, just union with self is not union. That is another spell. How can one union with self and then union with another, how they can't be the same word? And if we use the same word for each of them, then one of them must be sacrificed. And because service to others is more passion-filled and more divine, maybe, yeah. I don't know, that's me speaking biasly, but maybe you catch my meaning. But service to others, maybe it's just nature. It's you're more inclined, even when you serve yourself, it's like using others, but it still involves others. And so we're all more inclined to want to merge with someone else. Because if you had to choose, I don't know if I had to choose. The matrix and the programming is truly just managing our ways of thinking. And like popularly known, at least in our circles, no one can make you really think a certain way, but what can be done is condition you to redefine what you think things are. One cannot change a rainbow, but one can condition one to make a rainbow think, to make one think a rainbow means one thing or another. One can be conditioned to believe that a rainbow is white light divided. Versus a rainbow being true light seen. And white light, a barrier, an obfuscation of the true light. And one doesn't need to change the rainbow. But depending on what you believe, depends on what you do with the rainbow. In that way, so long as we use the mechanisms for our separation, or of our separation, such as the internet, as it exists now, to attempt to bring us together, it will not. You can make plans while you're in your prison cell, but you can't escape a prison cell just by talking to the other inmates in their cells. Eventually, you need to break free and merge the cells. And then eventually, you have to get the fuck out of the jail. You have to get past the bars. You have to get past the guards. And then once you're free of the yard, you have to get free of what the world has made the prison mean to those that have not realized why you're in it. To free other people in the prison, they have to first realize that they're in it. I suck at this. I more or less detest this method of communication because there's nothing that I want to say at people. And I'm not at this, because through space and time, so many different people may end up seeing this one way or another. I'm simultaneously having to speak to each of you from your own frames of references, and it's confusing and may create more harm than good. But in front of someone, I can feel their inquiries, explain, ask questions myself. And Skype can't even achieve that. No, we need to be meeting in our living rooms. And I'm not saying that what we've been doing before is not enough. That is not, the sense of urgency is non-existent. It's awareness that as we continue to use this mode of communication, that we are keeping in our minds and our hearts its failings. We're being precocious as a precaution for the dangers, right? Because how many times have you ever had a conversation, a really good one, where you say something and then the person responds in such a manner and you're like, oh shit, that's not what I mean. That's happening every time. Every time. But because there's no opportunity for that, creating that new clarity, one party or the other is shaken from the harmony. Not because they believe differently, but because they believe differently. That's it for now. I'll do a short pull. I don't want to make this video too long because I don't know. It's just my intuition, but we'll see what happens. Okay. We've got the Eight of Swords and the Six of Wands. These eight always means power to me, strength. 6 always means like a leadership or a new level of mastery. Adaptation, and I don't read the cards traditionally, a little more esoterically and a little bit more from how spirit speaks to me. So the bottom of the deck was the Page of Wands, so that to me means that everything is going to be filtered a little bit through that energy. Pages are the students. So the errand runners, they're the reason why we do it, right? The king and the queen, they are inspired by the pages, and the Page of Wands inevitably are the ones that, if implementation is kingly and queenly, but the page has authority. They're like the authors a little bit, and they're unabashed in the manner with which they bring up new ideas. And the Page of Wands for me, the wand always represents Sagittarius, so it's like of the pages, they're the ones with the highest level of new awareness. They can see the potential. Their Page of Wands represents invention, invention of business, invention of ideas, invention of technology. It's just to the invention, the act of something new from that which was, and it can very much come from the bringing about of what already is. But either way, it's less the structure building, and it's more like the prototype building. The Eight of Swords always represents, or typically represents, being bound. I don't see it as that at all. Not any longer. It speaks to me of great confidence, of defense and strength in defense, unwavering. The Eight of Swords to me speaks of a knowing, a not needing to see, and seeing and using sight as a weapon. For she stands amongst the Eight Swords with the castle in the background, and the depth of the whole scene is quite unclear. We don't know how far or close the swords are from each other, with each other, and from the castle. But what I'm seeing for now is almost like a circle of power. And those aren't bonds. Those are streams of power. It's the Eight of Swords, and she's the ninth. So, just seeing things in a new way. Seeing what was once seeing what we saw once as our bonds. Not bonds at all, but really the structure of our own power. And going back to kind of the channeled message, we can see ourselves as bound. We can see ourselves as only seeing ourselves bound, but we're really not bound. Or we can do away with all the bonding of forces outside of ourselves and recognize that we are always, ever in our power. Because it's almost like daring to get closer. And there's the other blind card that really stands out to me is the Two of Swords. And like, would you walk up to the Two of Swords? Does she look like she's having a hard time seeing? No. I think that the band across the eyes is more of an indication of sight, of not being deceived by sight. The Six of Wands, for now, is speaking to me of moving forward. The horses always represent a moving forward for me. So all the knights speak to a kind of movement, and so does death. And the Six of Wands does for me as well. It's like the Six of Wands is saying, we've built the structures. That's what the Five of Wands is about. Was creating something and not really sure what we were creating. So we weren't really quite sure what it would look like. And with the Six of Wands, we need more. Because you don't build a house with a house with just the sticks. The teepee is not just the masts. The ship is not just the masts. And the wreath really speaks to me of an idea as to wholeness, but only the leader is possessed of the wreath, the herald. So if you're seeing this, then you're meant to. This is a time for being a herald for others. For others, because what's the community here on YouTube? 300,000? A million? There's a whole bunch of PewDiePie controversy recently. What's he have, like 1 point something million subscribers? How many people are in the world? We get so caught up, so ornery on what we are creating here on YouTube. What about the rest of the world? I'll admit, I'm incredibly concentrated on the rest of the world, which is why you don't see me here too much. Not to say it's better or worse, we're a team. If you weren't here doing your part, viewing, making your own videos, doing whatever you do with this information, right, then I don't know what I'd be doing, because you are, and I'm here. And I watch videos. I learn. I connect. I try. It's time to use what we've built. It's like almost like at the Five of Wands stage, we've got this idea, we're building this thing, and then we realize, oh shit, we need more than just wands. So everybody takes down the wands, they grab one, and they're like, okay, let's go get what we need, because now we know. And there's power in that. And then finally, the Three of Cups. That's the Nine of Cups, yep. And the Ace of Pentacles. This Okay, we'll start here. The What the Three of Cups, with the Three of Grails, really speaks to me about is, again, staying with the kind of in line with the things not appearing as they seem. Like, this is typically viewed as three women, but I see three people. And the one with the back facing us could certainly be a male. Maybe that's typically seen. And we can clearly see more or less what the one with the back facing us, their arms are doing. But if you ever tried to kind of figure out the orientation of the other two, it's almost like the other two might be facing outward, they might be facing inward. It's very unclear. And really what the other arms are doing. Somewhere along the line, the Three of Cups started meaning a third party situation, and that was a bad thing. I think it's time we stop making the Three of Cups a bad fucking card. Because if you search the deck, it's almost the only one, or it's one of the few that are undisputedly a cup of joy. The people are smiling, they're dancing, or they're performing some badass ritual, you know? But it's togetherness. There's like sun energy here. So I think we need to stop thinking about third parties and second parties and first parties and just party. You know what I'm saying? This speaks to me of three people being happy in a situation. When there's a union of one and one, we are inclined to be happy for those two people. The Nine of Cups in this speaks to me more of the illusion of our power. Like they've got each cup in hand, and instead of like not this Nine of Cups in this reading being like real emotional fulfillment, it's almost like more like the arrogance of power, the arrogance of fulfillment. Arms crossed, which means you're not holding any cups, you're not holding any hands, and you're guarding your chest, your heart. Smug smile doesn't help, and we've got the cups elevated above everything else, behind, as if on a shelf to show off, as if on a shelf that you can't reach, but to reach you have to go past, buddy. So this speaks to me of the smarminess of the chain holders. Like, sure, do this, do that. Yellow vests, blue vests, red vests, whatever. Ha 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 ha. You still using my cups, yo? I still hold all the cups. And with the power of 9, and like with the 8 first, and then the 6, 3, now 9. Last number is a 1, and so last number is a 1. So we got 1 and 8, 18, 6, 3, and 9. And I think there's something to be said about the order. Because if we reverse it, we go from 1 to 9, from beginning to the beginning of something in regards to, so the beginning of this manifestation, not the Ace of Swords, not the Ace of Wands or Cups, but the Ace of Pentacles. So this beginning energy of receiving of matter, going towards this 9 of Cups energy, this pseudo mastery, but it's not there. The 9 of Cups isn't the king, isn't the queen, isn't the ace, and isn't the 10. And like, does it look like this person is trying to achieve another cup? No, it's like 9 of Cups and that's it. Done. So the ace moving towards the 9, 1, 9, 3, and then taking our cups in our hands. It's like 2, finding another, then 2, finding another. Like after 2 people connect, you find another. So this to me speaks about the connecting of our cups, taking them in hand. The 1, the 9, the 3 to the 6, and then using our cups to kind of feed the energy of our ones, of our ideas and our passion, and again, they're kind of there's a bit of a don't fuck with me energy of the wands, at least in my opinion. For me, the wands is like, don't fuck with me. The swords is like, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna fuck with you now. Like, like I dare you. You know, it's like not even dare. I'm coming. You know. So the 1, the 9, to 3, to the 6, the moving towards, and then to the 8, which is the standing in our power. The never being bound, or only appearing bound to those that are blind, and never being blind. I will speak to the last, the Ace of Pentacles, and then I'll draw just one card maybe for a kind of outcome to sum up the energy of this reading. Ace of Pentacles speaks to me of divine intervention, a gifting of a summation of energies. Once more, it's like we've made progress, we've done the work, and as a result, we have something now. We've been gifted it, because everything is a receiving. Nothing is really ours as much as a part of us. And the divine is not separate. And there's an order to chaos, and a chaos to the order, and where those two meet is magic. And so we receive from above as much as below. There's always like thank you, Creator, and then taking care of that which we can take care of. So much in line with the kind of channel messages is each card kind of just saying their own thing. Now I'm going to ask Spirit if there's any last message that it may deliver through me. Bottom of the deck, Devil. Got the King of Swords. And the first card that flew out, the Death. So cool. So the last message is, there is no light without dark, and dark is not the enemy. The enemy is believing that we cannot see in the dark. And in order to move towards the light, every night we move towards the dark. The sun sets. The sun sets. If the sun never set, we'd never see the stars. And I don't know about you, I'm in love with the sun, but nothing has ever taken my breath away like the first time I saw the indigo sky. Like a tapestry of innumerable pinpricks of light shining through from somewhere. A dark night where there's almost more light than dark, separated by little cells of starlight. And 13 and 15 is 28. The King of Swords. The King of Swords in this reading, as a part of this last message, is accepting the truth. And then, maybe this is very much for me, maybe it's very much for you too, but accepting that enough truth is known. Because with the Devil and the Death, we've got the Ace of Pentacles, the 9, and then the 6 of Cups, the 6 of Wands, and then the 8 of Swords. So from the 8 of Swords through all the other elements and the Devil and Death, and then to come back to the King of Swords. So it's like the Swords is about for me, the swords, especially in this reading, not just the truth, but thoughts, thinking about it, but also like putting it out there. It's cutting. It's like gotta say, gotta do, gotta this, not do, but like gotta say, this needs to be known, this needs to be known. And it's like, okay, cool, enough is enough. What are you gonna do with that information? And in part, I pulse, like I put information out to do something fuck about it, but also I'm just reading, and for me, there's no doubt that what I'm speaking to is not less of a call to action, and it's more communicating that action is occurring. It's beautiful. We're coming together. We're creating new things because we have a very good idea as to what we need to create. And with the devil and death on his pale horse, I want to venture that, and you know what, with the devil, death, and the king of swords, to me that speaks to, and actually just all of it just speaks to, there's a lot that is known and isn't being spoken about. There's a lot of questions that have been answered, and a lot of actions that have been taken and are being taken that many, if not most, don't know. And the most important thing isn't for everyone to know. It's for people to connect. Because it's not the information that is most important that everybody knows now. It's each other. Knowing each other is the most important thing now. Thank you for joining me. I fucking love you. Yeah, you're wicked. Wicked. Talk soon. Share your light. Share your darkness too. You're beautiful. Namaste.